Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit. Childish, oh shit. How can I parent when I'm still a kid? Childish, oh shit. Who the hell decided I was ready for this?
Hey, Greg Fitzsimmons here.
Alison Rosen here.
Together we bring you a podcast that plagues can't stop.
No, they tried, and we said, not today, plague.
Now, nothing stops this. We've had hurricanes happen during this. We've had deaths in the family.
We've had children.
We've had
like
children.
Which is apropos.
And we have missed, in a year and a half, exactly how many weeks?
One. But that was by choice.
Yep.
Because I have never, ever taken a week off of my podcast. And you said, let's take one off for Christmas. And I said, well, okay, Greg, if you insist. I tried to bring you guys an episode, but Greg stood, he laid down on the train tracks of this podcast. And he said, there shan't be an episode. And I said, fine.
It's like when you're making good love to your woman and you're taking her to the mountaintop. And then right before you get to the top, you go make a sandwich. And then when you come back, she wants to go over the top.
Right. But do you ever worry that while you're in the kitchen getting out the cold cuts and choosing which mustard, she just goes over the top?
Not when you're making good love to her. Not when you're really you're using what God gave you the right way.
And it's interesting. I always think, like, is the person listening new to this show? Do they listen often? Because now someone new might be like, okay, so they're a parenting podcast that's religious and talks about sex.
I wish you didn't think about what the audience thought about us.
It'd be so much better, right?
Yeah, just do it.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Of all the times you have sex, what percentage of times are you like making good love and using what God gave you?
100%. Because
always?
It's such a part of my identity. Ever since I was young, I've been a hypersexual person. And I think if you find somebody who's hypersexual and also codependent, codependence is a huge factor in being a good lover. I have always cared more about my partner orgasming and enjoying themselves than about me. And part of it is, I think, a feeling of, I don't even deserve this, so I'm going to give it everything I got. Mm-hmm. And also a feeling of like, this is so good, I want to be able to do it again and again and again. And so I want her to demand it next time.
Which does more for your ego? A good stand-up set or a good orgasm?
Oh, good question.
Thank you.
I would say both used to mean more to me. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like if I have done my job, there's an honor to that.
In both cases.
In both cases. I think the idea of wanting somebody's toes to go like that,
yeah,
or somebody's belly to hurt, those days are gone. You know? Go see Chris D'Elia if you want that. Or make love to Chris D'Elia. But if you want to drive home and go, I was just serviced by a professional, Fitz dog.
I think that's good. I think that that's healthy. I think that, and now I'm talking more in the career realm than the sex realm. But really both. Just how to be like a well-centered, stable person. You kind of have to provide that for yourself. You have to give yourself that orgasm.
Yes.
But really, I do think right now during lockdown, a lot of people who received validation through career achievement are being forced to reckon with themselves.
I think I had a long talk with my son about it this morning, and I said, you know, with no more fear of missing out, because there's nothing to miss out on right now, and no more having to achieve and feel the pressure to compete, I'm finding myself extremely grounded. I'm finding myself in the moment. I'm enjoying food more. I'm enjoying the fuck out of my family. especially since I got Owen taken away from me last September when he went to college.
Right.
And I don't know that you're ever ready for that as a parent. So to have him back in the house, it feels like we're cheating, like we don't deserve this.
Right.
And so I'm just like treasuring all the time that we're spending together. And I don't think I enjoyed him that much before he left. And part of it too is you got him all the time. You'll find when you have teenagers, it's like you suddenly want them to stop going out and hanging out with their friends as much because they just, you see them at meals and that's pretty much it.
Right. Right. Yeah. As the mother of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old right now, I would love for them to go out and see their friends.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty about that, but it is just like something has changed in Elliot and he has just become honey, if you hear this when you're older, I love you to death, but you have become a very, very, very annoying tiny person. He's so fucking annoying. I don't know what happened. And I feel like a real asshole saying he's annoying, but oh my God, because mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, daddy, mommy, daddy. And he says that to both of us. So he's just, when he wants, every third word is mommy, daddy. And then he'll correct himself. Mommy, daddy, daddy, mommy, and you'll say what? And he'll go, mommy, what? Mommy! Like you're not paying. He is so keenly aware of how much you're paying attention. And even if you think you're paying attention, it's not an intense enough attention for him. And he will call you out. And it is very exhausting.
Isn't it interesting, like, that kids, on one hand, there are physical, mental, and emotional demands unlike anything you've ever had.
Yes.
And at the same time, the quality of what you give them has to be more intense than you've ever given anybody else before because they are emotional bullshit detectors.
They really are. I mean, Daniel and I were just talking about this. I think that as adults, you get conditioned to accept far less than 100% attention because that's just the polite adult thing to do. So there's so many times that Daniel and I are talking to each other, and unless it's like a very crucial discussion, neither one of us is paying full attention because there's so many other things that are drawing our focus, and we are distracted and we've got our own shit on our brains. So you kind of politely pay attention, but you're not fully there. And with kids, they do not allow it. And I sort of appreciate how organic and honest it is, even if it is driving me insane. But like, there's a very specific, because he and Daniel got into this back and forth where Elliot was saying, daddy. And Daniel was like, yes. And then Elliot went, daddy. And Daniel said, yes. And then Elliot goes, you're supposed to say yes, Elliot. So, I mean, he also has.
It reminds me of when I was in acting school. In the Meisner technique was a listening and answering, where you had to say what the other person just said, but you have to say it with emotional truth. So if they have urgency when they say, "Hey, Alison," and you have to say, "Hey, Alison," and I say, "Hey, Alison," and if I start laughing. You're laughing, but you're not mimicking me.
No,
you're taking in emotionally what you're receiving, and you're giving it back in a natural way. And that is what kids demand.
Our son is practicing the Meisner technique. I'm more of a Stanislavski kind of parent. Is that right? Yeah, that's
Stanislavski was the father of all of that type of method acting, and Meisner was one of his students.
Okay. Elliot also has this new thing he does, which is he says, what do you mean? But he says it in such a bullying way. I feel like he's found my Achilles heel. And and I'm saying this with a little bit of a grain of salt, but like, I feel bullied and I feel by my 3-year-old, and I feel like when he says it, I flinch and I feel like the dumbest person on the face of the earth. And I wouldn't have really thought it was possible that a 3-year-old could do this to me. And I need to like think my way out of it because he can't have that much power over me. That's not healthy. But he'll go, what do you mean? And then like today, I went into the bathroom and I was spraying my hair. And he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to blow dry my hair. What do you mean? I'm going to dry my hair. What do you mean? Oh. Like if he asked me for my lunch money, I would give it to him.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
if he asked me if he could cheat off me, I would let him.
Yeah.
I've just started the conversation of tone of voice, but I don't know if that's beyond him. I don't want to tone police him. I don't, you know, I don't want to crawl up his butt. He's very young and he's just learning. But at the same time, I do think it would help him to understand like different ways of saying things. But wow. And it, again, like it seems like with all phases, like it's overnight that he's this new tiny jerk.
Has he started smoking?
No, but he smelled like smoke, but he told me it was just because his friends were smoking. That seems right?
Right. Well, you know, watch out for the tattoos. And, you know, no, that is amazing because, like, they are pure. They are pure of thought and emotion.
It's pure id.
It's pure id. There's no super ego. And so you come up against that, and it's daunting. And it does feel like it's the way if you're around a smart person, you feel dumb. They're truthful and you feel untruthful.
Yes.
Even if you're not, if you that fucking nucleus of truth is just too much.
Yes. How frequently do you feel like you're dumb compared to a smart person?
How frequently? I would say about 5% of the time.
Yeah, I am lucky enough that I don't feel it very often, but on the occasions I do, and it's usually because someone has used a word that I'm not familiar with, and because I sort of pride myself on knowing lots of words. So when I encounter a word or a phrase that I'm unfamiliar with, then I think, oh, I don't know as much as this person. And it's not really a good feeling. So what I'm saying, Greg...
I'm going to ask you 3 words right now.
Okay, let me just finish my point, though.
Yeah.
You and I probably make people feel bad about themselves all the time by just existing with our colossal brains.
Probably 95% of people that I come in contact with
don't like us.
I make feel dumb.
Yeah. Good thing this podcast is relatively dumb so they can feel good.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 adjectives.
Okay. And what am I going to...
Salacious.
Oh, salacious means kind of like tawdry and scandalous.
Right. Okay. Felicitous.
Happy with joy.
Acrimonious.
Like at each other's heads with tension, angry.
All right, now I feel dumb.
Well, I can't even think of 3 to give you. So you should feel better.
Sometimes also it's not just people that have big words or like I've sort of gotten over the fact that some people just have photographic memories. They were born with it. They didn't earn it. It doesn't necessarily give them opinions that are more sound. They're just walking encyclopedias. I used to be intimidated by that. And then I sort of had that epiphany, which is a pretty good word.
That is a solid word.
And now I can kind of dismiss it. But the people, and there's certain comedians that have this. Patrice O'Neal had this. They look at you and they take you in and they mirror back to you your insecurities, whatever it is you thought about before you walked out of the house, whether it was a new haircut you don't like or whether it's a belt buckle you think might be too big, or maybe it's as you walk over to the comedian's table at the Comedy Cellar, suddenly you're feeling a little bit intimidated because, you know, Louis C.K.'s there and you haven't seen him since the incident. And whatever you say that comes out of your mouth at first, he's going to call you on every single one of those things. And in a way that is completely grounded and truthful to where you just go like, I don't know how to respond to that. You just crawled inside of me.
But is that not being an asshole a little bit?
No,
it's
not in the comedy world. No, because it's funny.
Okay,
it's funny. And I think it's funny in a really healthy way, and I fucking love it. There's nothing I enjoy more than Keith Robinson does it, Colin Quinn does it, and it's why that scene is so much fun, because it's not roasting in the corny sense of like, where'd you get that shirt? Did Andy Dick's, maid do some sprinkling? Whatever. Like, that's just a generic roast joke. I'm talking about a guy going like, oh, you dyed your hair. What is it? Are you still going out for pilot season? Is that what you're hoping for?
There's a certain type of insult, and I think this is what you're saying. There's a certain type of insult where you feel really seen by it, and it's actually loving because to go back to what we were saying before, because it shows that they are paying like very sincere, full attention to you.
And they also believe that your relationship is solid enough that you can fuck around with each other.
Yes.
It's a compliment to shit on. When you're from New York, it's a compliment. I've learned over 25 years in LA that it shouldn't be done. It's rude.
Right.
You got an agenda or whatever.
Yeah. Have people always been so soft out here?
I think so. I mean, I know in the comedy scene they always have been. Mm-hmm. The only people that bust balls are fellow New Yorkers, and that's why I almost exclusively hang around with people that are from New York. Or the East Coast in general, the Northeast in general.
Right. How are you doing not being able to perform?
Well, the podcasting helps. I feel I look forward to the podcast more than I used to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always enjoyed it, but now I like really get excited.
It's like a lifeline, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I probably prepare my thoughts a little bit more than I used to. I'm going back through old hard drives and I'm pulling stand-up clips that I'm going to start rolling out on my social media.
Nice.
Because I feel like I want to put out something. Mm-hmm. I feel like people need to laugh right now, and I feel like normally I do that live, and now I'm going to just have to do it a different way.
Are you worried about being rusty when you get out there?
Oh, yeah.
Really? So it like atrophies that fast?
This is the longest I've gone in. I've been doing comedy 31 years. This is the longest I've ever gone without doing stand-up. And the time, I don't think I've ever taken off more than 2 weeks, maybe 3, once. And when I came back, my timing was off. I was totally in my head. I had no rhythm. Confidence was gone. So even little shit like, where should I be looking right now? Should I be looking in their eyes, over their heads? Everything. So I think it's going to be weird that we're all in the same boat. Like, I feel bad for audiences when we get back.
Yeah. Although I feel like maybe audiences, first of all, they'll be just overjoyed to get to see comedy again. And there's something sort of novel about, and not in the coronavirus way, but novel. No, actually in that way. Novel about seeing people knocked off their game a little bit. So I think it'll be
that's
okay.
true. That's true. We're all going to be, and I don't want to go back to my old material. I really feel like there's going to be like a pre-corona and a post-corona in comedy.
Yeah.
And I think I want to really come at it. First of all, I'm not going to be doing a lot of headlining gigs because I think it's going to be a while before crowds are allowed to assemble in big rooms.
Right.
So I'll probably just be doing 15-minute sets in LA in half-empty clubs. They'll probably allow half the club to fill up or something. So I'll start piecing together new material and build a new hour.
Good.
But I also find I'm way funnier at the dinner table. Like, I'm fucking killing. I'm going for it. Like, I'm really like, what did I say last night to my daughter? Very off-color shit, very non-PC stuff, because my kids are old enough now where it's totally cool.
So I want to remind everyone that we are on YouTube now. Go to youtube.com/Alison Rosen and you can get the full video. You can see my face. I've put on special makeup. You can see Greg's face. He has not put on special makeup, but he doesn't need it. And maybe we'll set up a channel exclusively for Childish. That's something we're thinking about doing. So we might do that. But yeah, get the full videos.
Also, the audio that goes with the videos is from our recorders.
Yeah,
so it's not
primo.
That,
it's not
that hollow Zoom audio that some people are putting out there.
No, it's listen, you could do worse, but you wouldn't want to. Also, if you want to call in.
Is that the new slogan for Childish?
Yeah.
I love
Yes,
that.
You could do worse, but you wouldn't want to. If you want to call into the show, we take your voicemails. Here's the number, 805-317-4243. You can also get all of this information on our website, childishpod.com. So, Greg, we should get to show stuff, but I have a question for you. As a parent of someone named Owen, I find that I call Owen, well, I have nicknames for him, and I'm wondering if you have any nicknames for Owen. And mine is not just like O or Owie or anything like that. It's Obertron. I don't know why. Obertron.
Oh,
Obertron.
that's great. That's
it
great.
just comes out of my mouth all the time.
I call him the Snowman.
So nothing to do with. Oh, yes, that is to do with. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
The Snowman, or just Snowman. I call him Obi-Wan Kenobi sometimes.
Oh, that's good. I'm trying to think what else I do. No, it's mostly just Obertron.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know why.
That is a funny thing when you name your child. You really have to think about what the nickname is going to be.
Right.
And with Josephine, there was a bunch of options. It could have been Joe, could have been Joey, could have been Fina, but we ended up with JoJo.
I like that.
And we didn't plan on that. It just kind of happened.
Right. Do you ever call her Josephine?
Yes.
Is it the typical when you're mad at her?
Yes. When my father called me Gregory, there was a good likelihood I was about to be physically abused.
Right.
And my room was upstairs and he was downstairs. And when he would yell, Gregory! And I'd have to come downstairs, there were 14 steps from the first floor down to the bottom floor. And they were fucking slow, heavy, scared steps.
I can imagine.
What kind of podcast is this?
It's a real one, Greg.
That's right.
You know what else, Greg?
What?
There's things we look back on and we think, how did I get it so wrong? It might be wearing multiple polo shirts and popping all the collars, donating to Coney 2012, or dating that one person that one time. You know the one. We're always going to get things wrong. That's just life. But there's also things we can get right on the first try, like shopping for life insurance. That's where Policy Genius comes in. Policy Genius makes finding the right life insurance a breeze. In minutes, you can compare quotes from the top insurers to find your best price. You could save $1,500 or more a year by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. Once you apply, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and red tape for free. And Policy Genius doesn't just make life insurance easy. They can also help you find the right home and auto insurance or disability insurance. So even if you look back on your triple denim days in distress, you'll never be distressed about life insurance with Policy Genius. In just a few minutes, you can find your best price and apply at policygenius.com. We all get things wrong from time to time. At least we can get life insurance right with Policy Genius. Should we do some news?
Yeah, we can do some news. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's hear this.
Time for the news.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So, Greg, back in the day when you and I turned 16, and there was plenty of years in between when that happened, though, lest anyone get the wrong idea about my age, I could not wait to get my driver's license. I think I've shared on this podcast before. I got it on my 16th birthday. However, nowadays,
did I.
Yeah,
As did I.
it was the difference between being able to go anywhere and not being able. I mean, it was like so tied into independence and autonomy and all of that. Nowadays, because of ride-sharing apps and whatnot, kids are just not really in that much of a rush to get their license. So in 2014, only a quarter of 16-year-olds had their license, which was a sharp decline from nearly half in 1983. And I'm surprised there were only half in 1983. So this is from Parents Magazine, and the writer is wondering, well, should I be encouraging my kid to get a license? Maybe you don't need them that much anymore. And the experts say it's okay to encourage your teens to drive, and you can let them know that it's good to have options. You know, it's good if you need to be the designated driver. That doesn't seem like a strong selling point, but still, if you can't get, you know, a ride through a ride-sharing app or whatever, it just increases the options if you are able to drive. Also, they recommend find out why they don't want to drive. Maybe they're nervous, maybe they're scared, you know, and talk through the reasons that they don't want to drive. And then lastly,
maybe they don't want to be the designated driver.
Right. Maybe they already enjoy alcohol and they just don't want to be in that position.
Right.
I was like always I had a car and I was responsible and I was a nerd. So, and I just
that is absolutely a reason why kids don't want to drive. I think that they party and they're told not to drink and drive, and they don't want to put themselves in that position, and so they opt out. I mean, you can get shit-faced and get a Razor scooter with a motor on it to take you home.
That sounds awful.
Get an Uber. I mean, there's so many dangerous ways to get home without drinking and driving that is just totally acceptable.
Yeah. And so also, bottom line, realize that just because they're chronologically ready to drive, maybe your kid is not ready to drive. For our people who are watching the video at home, I was trying to throw the papers and then you couldn't even. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to leave the prop work to the masters next time. But anyway, I say kerflooey to all of that. Get your license. It is wonderful to be able to drive.
I can remember the first fucking drive I took after getting my license. I drove to Kyle McGovern's house. It was across town. And I pulled up and I parked out front. And, you know, you weren't allowed to take passengers.
Right.
For the first 6 months, you have to just drive
that's
alone.
right. Yeah.
So I got to Kyle's and all my friends piled in. And then we drove around town for like an hour and a half. And it was the greatest feeling I've ever had of freedom because, oh, my God, I felt so constrained and oppressed as a teenager. And to be in a car and fucking go where I want. Oh, my God. Right now, I'm still getting excited about how good that felt.
I really wanted my mom to drive me to Sam Goody because I had seen the Doors movie, which I really liked, and I wanted to buy the soundtrack on tape. And she wouldn't take me. She just wasn't in the mood to drive, even though it was such a short drive.
Yeah.
And I was like... I felt very misunderstood. I felt besmirched, to use one of those words from before. I mean, it wasn't from before, but it could have been. Yeah, I was just like, I was very over being dependent like that. And so then once I got my license, when she'd let me borrow her car, I could go and buy my tapes, and I wasn't dependent on my mom's moods.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming her. Like, you shouldn't be at your child's beck and call, really, but still.
No, you shouldn't, but she might have been doing you a favor on that one because the Doors soundtrack was actually Val Kilmer singing the songs. So
was it?
You might have dodged
he
a
did.
bullet.
He
didn't sing all of them, but on a couple of the tracks, it's Val Kilmer.
I had a real thing for Val Kilmer.
Of course you did. I did.
love it. You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen what he looks like now?
No.
He's very, like, gray, and he's got a lot of... he lives in Santa Fe, I think, and he wears a lot of silver and turquoise.
Oh, that's how you should go out. That's absolutely the way to go out.
It really is.
No, but the Doors movie I actually really liked, and it was set in Venice.
Yeah.
And when they played that song Love Street, they were walking down the walk streets that I live on.
There you go.
Flowers everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She
lives on Love
I was debating
Street.
whether we should sing. We should. Lingers long on Love Street. She has a house and garden. I would like to see what happens. Do, 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 do. We should form a band, Greg. Clearly.
Yeah, I need more things to do during a fucking pandemic.
Do you have some news?
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of the pandemic, people are stressed out. And we're around our family members in a more intense, we're pressed up against them. And it's becoming an issue of, like, how do you deal with your stress and your anxiety? Well,
yes.
The Journal of Family Psychology has studied interactions between parents and children between the ages of 7 and 11. and they found that stress can be basically transmitted to the children. It happens under the skin. It shows what happens when we tell kids that we're fine when we're not. It comes from a good place. We don't want to stress them out, but we may be doing the exact opposite. So instead of hiding your stress, they're saying if you're stressed, don't say, oh, I'm fine, because that makes you less available to your child. Kids pick up on that and they reciprocate it, which becomes a self-fulfilling dynamic. So in a related article, I found a letter from Angelina Jolie this week that she put out to parents. You can make fun of Angelina Jolie all you want.
Well, I want to make fun of you, actually.
For not saying her name right?
That's right.
You can make fun of her all you want. I happen to fucking love Angelina Jolie, and it's not because I can't say her name. She is the most beautiful woman, top 3 most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, and I've been in her presence. I think she's got a heart of gold. I think she's generous. I think she's sexually out there. I think she's honest. She's herself. And I think she's a great parent, you know? So everyone wants to make fun of people because they're pretty or they're actresses or whatever, or because they had a vial of blood around their necks. So what? So she fucking was a little bit down and dirty. What did you do in your life?
I've got a few questions. Now, I'm going to need to know when you were around Angelo.
Say it.
Angelo is what you said. And I'm also going to need to know, because first you said she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and then you downgraded her to top 3. Who are the other 2?
My wife is number 1. My cousin Robbie's wife, Trish, in her prime, I'd put in there. And then
Angelina?
No, and then John F. Kennedy's wife, I was friends with in college. Why am I forgetting her name?
Carolyn Bessette Kennedy?
Carolyn Bessette, I was friends with.
Oh,
and
wow.
when she walked in a room, it went silent. She was so beautiful.
Wow.
Green eyes. I mean, everything about her. So I would put them all up in there.
So Angelo is 4th. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let it go.
How
Angelina Jolie is 4th.
So she wrote. And here's how I met her: is when I was working on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Which, by the way, she's gotten a lot of bad press lately.
She
and
really
you know,
has.
I have a non-disclosure agreement, so I have not weighed in on it because I would be sued for it. But I find it interesting that so many people now are speaking out, because normally when you work for somebody, you have that NDA and you're not allowed to.
Right.
But a ton of people that worked for her are saying she's the meanest person that they've ever worked for, and that you couldn't make eye contact, and talk about being fired. And there's a whole thing by her production people that she wasn't letting them know if they were going to get paid. Yeah. And then she brought in a company that was non-union instead of using her own workers, after saying the only reason she's doing her show digitally is because she wants to support her crew. I don't have an opinion on it,
clearly.
I can't. But I thought these were interesting things, and I didn't know if people knew about them.
So how are these people speaking out given the NDA?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious about. But anyway, so I'm backstage, back when I worked there as a producer. It was St. Patrick's Day, and in an extreme act of racism, I was told that I was going to be playing a leprechaun, and I was going to dance around the stage with a pot of gold while Ellen chased me. And I have that clip, and I will not be putting it out online.
Oh, you mean it's not anywhere? No, anyone who puts it
anywhere.
up.
I will show it for you in person the next time I see you.
Okay, good. That will probably be in 2012. 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm backstage waiting to go do this thing. It was the cold open, so it was the beginning of the show, and she was the first guest. So we're sitting in I'm sitting in a director's chair, and then the producer walks her back.
And you're dressed as a leprechaun.
Dressed as a leprechaun. And she looks at me, and she gives me a big smile with a look in her eye like, how embarrassed are you right now? And then she sat down next to me, and I couldn't
God.
breathe. She was so beautiful, I couldn't breathe. And then I had to go out in front of her and run around in circles with a pot of gold in my arms.
This is the most amazing story.
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't heard it before.
So anyway, she wrote an open letter to
yes.
parents, and she said, I'm thinking of you. I'm imagining how hard each of you is trying to get through your days, how much you want to lead your loved ones through this, how you worry, how you plan, how you smile for them when inside you feel at times that whatever. She goes on and on, all hoping you want to get everything right, answer all the needs, but it's impossible to be perfect. It's a lovely thing to discover that your children don't want you perfect. They just want you honest and doing your best. So it sort of like corroborates that study.
Yeah. I like her too. That's a good letter. Where did she post this? Do you know? Was it like on her Instagram?
I think on her Instagram, yeah. Oh, no, there's a magazine that's been putting out one piece a month from her. I think it's a parenting magazine.
Oh, cool. Maybe she wants to come on the show.
I think I'll wear the outfit again so she remembers me. And I'm telling you, her nude scenes, her sex scenes, holy mother of God. Anyway.
What's your favorite?
Geely? Geely? Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that with...
She does...
oh, no. Geely is with, what's her name? J-Lo. You're thinking of Gia.
Gia.
Where she plays the model.
Yeah, and she plays a lesbian scene, which is outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
High quality.
How's your porn consumption with your family?
Very low. Extremely low. I find that because I'm in such close proximity to them emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
And even though I do have an office, I'm not partaking because I feel dirty then when I'm around them.
Right.
I'm very Irish Catholic. I'm not a huge masturbator.
You're not?
No.
Under normal circumstances, you're not?
Somewhat, but not like not chronic. I'm not like one of these chronic guys.
What's like the average?
It is a little personal. I'll
Yeah.
tell you if you tell me.
I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you your average. I'm saying what makes for a chronic masturbator and what's normal, do you think?
Oh, I think, there's guys out there that do it every day. Guys that do it multiple times every day.
Right.
Which is astounding to me because I'm exhausted. I just, and I think it's because I have so much Irish Catholic guilt that I really just don't feel good after it.
That's so interesting because you talk so much about having worked your way through all the porn and like which particular genres you're into and whatnot.
I know what I like. I know what I like.
You
And I
just
enjoy doing it. I just don't like how I feel afterwards. It's just a bad hangover.
Yeah, I understand. All right, let's...
Hold on.
Okay.
How's your masturbating going?
I would say it's non-existent.
Non-existent.
There was one day where I was like, I could go for a stress relief right now. And so Daniel and I have been trading back every 3 hours. That's how, when we alternate mornings. So I had watched them from 8 to 11. So it was 11 to 2 and it was my time and I was taking a nap. That's how I'm surviving these days. I've been napping. So anyway, I'm in the master bedroom napping. The door is closed.
Master bedroom.
The masturbatorium.
Yeah.
Master bedroom. And the door is closed, but it's not locked. But you can hear, I'll for sure be able to hear anything. And so I'm just like, make my way down there. And then, but it's like very precarious, this fact that the door could swing open in any second. And it's hard to get into a good headspace. And then the door just opens and Daniel comes in.
No.
Yeah. But it was like, there was nothing to see.
Yeah.
I was stealthy. There's nothing to see. And so then he goes he's like, I just need to grab something out of the bathroom. And then Elliot comes trudging in, and he's like, I need you to fix my nail. He needed Daniel to cut his hangnail or something.
God.
And at that point, I was like, well, I don't think this is going to happen for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like my, like that smushed right up against that's the like domestic child scene. I mean, yeah, no. So it's not happening.
So
but
you're
I'm
not
not
a
even,
you're not a bathtub blaster. You don't explore under the bubbles.
well, I'm not a bath taker to begin with.
Well, maybe you need to start taking baths. They would never bother you in there, would they? Isn't that sort of sacrosanct?
Fuck no. Fuck no. I mean, Daniel might not, but the kids, I would have to lock the door.
Yeah.
But I don't even I feel like parts of me are slowly shutting down.
Uh-huh.
And I don't even have the urge. Like, I'm not even horny, like, at all.
Yeah. Right.
But then in terms of other parts that I feel like are shutting down, there are people that I feel like I should be trying to FaceTime more often, and I just don't have, like, it's hard for me to make myself want to. Do you have that?
I know, it's weird. We have so much time, and yet all these things, I'm the same way. There's like 3 people, and I consider it sort of like act of kindness also. Like, some of these are people that I know
like
live
my
alone
parents.
in apartments and, need to hear from people. And I'm talking to my mom a lot and my sister, but not to some friends of mine that I know could really use a talking to. Maybe, and that's what, even though the weekends are same as the weekdays, I find that I reach out on the weekends more.
Yeah. I will say, in the last week, time has felt like it's gone by kind of fast. Like, oh, it's Sunday again. Oh, it's, which I think is good. I think that means I'm getting into a bit of a rhythm, because prior to that, each week felt like a year, for me at least.
Do you think there's going to be a spike in pregnancies in 9 months, or do you think it's what you and I are experiencing, which is actually less sex?
I think there'll be less sex and more divorces. I don't know. I mean, I guess, like,
I think we might have to re-up our predictions. We should do post-pandemic predictions.
Yeah. I was trying to remember when we estimated that Owen Obertron was going to walk, because he still is not. He's so close, but he still hasn't.
I think it's right around now. I think the under over was like May 1st.
Okay. I thought
I'll have to go back.
Earlier.
I'll go back and listen, but I'm going to come up with the PPPs for the next episode.
Post-pandemic predictions.
Yeah.
Perfect. That sounds perfect. Should we do some highs and lows?
Yeah, why don't you? I'll start. You started last week.
Lows. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, for my birthday, which was April 5th, I received a... you ever get a gift from a loved one and it didn't arrive in the mail yet, so they give you a printout of the Amazon order?
So frequently, yes.
So I got one of those, and it was for a poker chip set. And I mean,
nice.
So I was very excited because I do play poker, and people are always saying, who's got chips? Who's got chips? And it's just something a man should have. A man should have a humidor, and he should have a shoehorn, and he should have poker chips.
Okay.
And so they arrived this week, and it's in this stainless steel case, and it's enough chips to play with like 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
You could play Texas Hold'em with 7 people. It's a lot, and they're heavy clay chips.
Oh, nice.
And I was so excited. So we've played poker 3 times in the past week. My kids love it. They love poker. We have a lot of fun. We play strip poker, which is fucking weird.
It
but
seems
it's the only,
weird.
It's the only way we know, though.
You know that there are other ways to play, right?
Well, like what? How else do you keep track?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just...
we got the chips. We got the chips now. And so we're having a lot of fun with that, and they're pretty good. They're getting better every time. I find I'm not dominating the game the way I was on the first game. They're pretty fast learners. So that was my high, playing poker.
You know what I discovered from my brief foray into playing poker is that, tell me if you think this is correct. Good players, they pretty much play the cards they have. They don't do a lot of bluffing.
That's probably true. Yeah.
All right. My high. A friend of mine had a baby about 2 months ago, and I drove over and dropped off some baby gear, and I saw the baby through my car window. It was sort of sad in terms of the exchange of, because she loaned me some toys that her kids aren't using, because I want like new exciting toy, or just new. It's just something new for my kids.
So she's got older kids. This is not her first.
Yes, this is her second. So she has one who's about 4. So she left the toys on her porch, and I picked up the toys, and then I dropped off the stuff that I was dropping off on the porch. And then she came out, and I put on my mask even though I was in the car, and she held the baby up, and I got to see her, and I got to see the baby. But driving over there, it made it like somehow, for some reason, while I was driving, I was able to sort of forget that it felt normal again.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's almost like a prison visit, like you're behind the glass.
Yes.
And all you want is to reach out and touch.
Yes. It really was like that.
Yeah.
And we were trying to talk, but I had my motor running, and so then I shut it off. But it's like it's been 1,000 degrees out here, so then it started getting way too hot, way too fast.
Yeah.
It really is like visiting someone in prison.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. But still, even though it was bittersweet, I felt like, I feel like I saw someone. And seeing a baby is always sweet, but just driving felt good. Yeah. So that was my high.
Right.
Kind of a
you
low high.
You didn't get to smell his goddamn head, though.
I didn't.
No.
I know. And my own Owen doesn't have that head smell. I mean, he has a cute little head smell, but not the newborn head smell.
Right.
Yeah. What was your low?
My low was the goddamn federal. It had nothing. Well, it does have to do with kids in the sense that I'm trying to provide for my kids and put them through college. And the federal government put out this $1 trillion loan program for small businesses, which I am. I employ people to help on the podcast. And I pay myself because I'm incorporated, which means I have to pay my own 401k and all that stuff. So I am eligible for one of these loans. And I was unable to get it because the Cheesecake Factory and Harvard University got $20 million. And none of these big corporations that are in the same camp as me somehow to get loans, none of them had to go through the shitty-ass government website, which was clogged and shut down. I was on this website every day for 2 weeks, multiple times a day, and every time there was a problem. And I never got the money, and they all got the money, and I'm fucking pissed about it.
Do you know anyone who's not a big company who got the small business loan?
My friend did, and he's actually a medium-sized business. He's probably got like 15 employees. He's got a steel company. And he got through, but he's got a small bank. And he said the key is like some of the smaller banks were able to get it through. I'm with Chase. I should mention I'm with Chase, who is one of the big culprits of really fucking this thing up and having a concierge program for their bigger clients who got pushed through first.
Yeah. It's really fucked up.
By the way, they also made $2 billion in service fees for doing this program. Yeah.
So the money dried up, or the money has all been used.
There's a second wave coming,
one.
But I don't have any faith I'm going to get that one either.
I know. Yeah, Elliot's preschool is having a real big problem right now because
a lot of preschools are.
Yeah, they didn't get their loan either. And she was, and they were saying like we did everything right. We had the application like ready to go right at the very beginning, and it really sucks. Yeah. It really sucks that it's only big biz, like it's just the same shit. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
That only big companies were able to get the money that was supposed to keep small businesses afloat.
Right. And hedge fund managers are getting these crazy tax breaks next year in a year that we need to try to like pay down the deficit a little bit. all the crazy tax breaks that they already got in the new budget, they're getting even more now. It's fucking crazy.
So, can I do 2 lows?
No. Do one goddamn low, especially since your high had a low in it. We're not trying to bum people out, Alison Rosen.
Well, fine. The thing is, my low is super fucking low. I have a lighter low, but my low.
Do the lighter low and tell me the low off the air when we're just friends.
All right. No, I feel like I must share because it's an update to last week.
Okay.
The listener who was in the hospital unresponsive has died.
Oh no.
Yeah, Becky McClure. Do you remember her?
Sorry.
She was in the audience. She came to Childish, and she was talking about having done a DNA test, and she found people on her dad's side, and
That's right.
Yeah, and I think they politically they were not on the same page. Yeah, so it's but she was an organ donor, and she helped like 128 people or something beautiful like that.
Wow.
So in that way she lives on, but at the same time it's just surreal. So that sucks. But anyway, my lighter low, because now I gotta lighten it.
Yeah, lighten it up.
My lighter low. So I have been trying to have my kids FaceTime our nanny just because because they're attached to her and she was a huge part of their life, and now all of a sudden she's not in their life. That's one of the things where I feel like I'm not making myself do it enough. But anyway, they were FaceTiming with her, and I was in the bathroom, and I came out and I saw Elliot being kind of rough with Owen and like not sharing a toy with him. And I said, "Elliot, you have to be nice to Elliot." And I was like leaning into the yelling a little bit of like, "Elliot, you can't do that. Elliot, you can't," like forgetting that they were on FaceTime at the same time. And then I instantly felt embarrassed and mortified, like someone had caught me like raging at my kids. And I became so sweet and nice and silky and solicitous. And like, I totally changed. And then I felt like, oh my God, I didn't realize I have a way of communicating with them that I only want to be behind closed doors. That feels disgusting and abusive. I don't want to be that person at all. Yeah. So the whole thing made me feel really disgusting. And
don't you think every parent has 2 faces?
Yes, but I feel like my kids are young for me to already have, like, he's only 3. Do I really need to fucking raise my voice like that at him? I don't know. The only thing that made me feel a little bit better is that another parent from Elliot's school told me that she feels awful because she feels like she yells at her kids all the time. Yeah. And she asked her husband, he said, "I don't think of it as you yelling at them. I think of it as you pleading with them. You sound like you're pleading with them."
Right. Well, I know a couple people, Italians, that I watched fucking raise their kids by screaming, threatening violence. Never hitting them, but taking it to the, level 7. And kids are great. Kids are gentle. They're nice. They're emotional. They're good. Don't worry about it.
I think, on occasion it's okay, but I have parents who raged and I don't want to repeat that. So, and, it was sort of a choice to like let my emotion about it come out in my voice versus staying calm. So that just felt gross.
I should correct that. Like, I don't want to put out the message on Childish that it's okay to yell at your kids and threaten violence.
Right.
I was just using an extreme example.
To make me feel better.
To make you feel better. But
you're nice.
The truth is we're all aspiring to be connected and to be and to empathize and to guide rather than punish and all of those things. But we're also human beings, and during a pandemic, you're going to lose your temper more than you usually do. And I think you got to give yourself a break for that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Do you want to do voicemail or email?
Why don't we do a quick voicemail and then we'll do a couple emails?
Okay, let's do it.
You rang.
You gonna play it or me?
I'm gonna play it. I am gonna play it. Here it is.
I think I should give my name first. Hi, Alison and Greg. My name is Manuel Matos or Manolo Matos, calling from Western Kentucky, and there's a really cool thing they're doing around here for kids that are having cabin fever. And it is that they're taking bears, stuffed bears, and putting them on their porches and in the front of the houses for kids to do a bear hunt. So what people do is they drive around and they look at bears, and it's kind of like a scavenger hunt, but it's a town-wide scavenger hunt for bears. And they're calling it a bear hunt. And kids are having a lot of fun. Nobody has to get out of the car. Nobody has to interact with anybody. And I think it's something else that they can do while they're on these terrible coronavirus times. Anyway, I love the podcast, and have a great time and be safe.
Thank you. That's a really good idea. I've noticed now I'm like on alert for it. So I've noticed some bears in the windows around here.
I love it. It's like Trader Joe's does that. They put a bear in the store. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I love
If
that.
you're ever in a Trader Joe with your kids, they're going to fucking love this. It's somewhere on the shelves, and they keep it low enough that kids can see it. And while you're shopping, you let them loose.
That's so smart. I mean, it's not. It is, and it's not.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking to abduct children, Trader Joe's is a great place where they're separated from their parents. Now, if they stay with you, but they're looking as you go.
It gives them something to do. I love that.
And if they find it, Trader Joe's gives them some candy.
Oh, I didn't know this. Had they done this always?
Yeah.
Wow. Now you tell me. All right. Should we do some emails, or you want to do another voicemail?
Yeah, let's do another voicemail.
Okay, let's do it.
Hi, Greg and Allison. I'm calling in looking for some advice. I am about to be 32 years old. Was in a relationship for a long time, over 10 years, with a lot of pressure from family and friends to get married and have babies and do that whole thing. I am in a somewhat recent relationship. We have been together over a year now, and I'm already getting that same pressure again from family. How do I respond to that? And just wondering how to, let my family let me be happy and enjoy this time, because all of those other good marriage and baby things will come. So appreciate the advice. Thanks. Bye.
I mean, that's easy. You gotta just in baseball, you call them brushing them back from the plate. You throw an inside fastball. So you basically tell your parents that this guy Ron has low sperm count and schizophrenia in the family, and maybe they lay off a little bit.
No, really, I think, here's the question. Should she sit them down and tell them basically what she told us? Or should she, like, when they're pressuring, say, like, kind of brush them back or push them off at that point, just like with a sort of, like, like, oh, I hear that you're eager. I am too, but we're just taking our time, or just some comment like that to hopefully get the point across.
I think I'm a huge believer in not dealing with things while they're hot. And so I think you choose a neutral time to all sit down, and you say, listen, I know you guys care about whatever she exactly said to us.
Right.
She should say to them, because nothing brings you closer to people than being honest and
so
talking
true.
that way.
Another idea is just play this episode for them if they like a little bit of masturbation talk.
Right. And if they like our first email, let's go to emails.
Oh, okay. Hang on one second, because when we do emails, we play this.
You wrote.
Let's hear it.
This one is from Andrea. She says, okay, my question that you'll probably never play on the air.
Oh,
yeah,
Andrea. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Suck on this.
Do you teach your kids to wipe with nicely folded toilet paper into a square like my OCD husband and his family do?
No.
Or do you, first of all, why do you know that? Or do you crumple the paper like my hillbilly family? I propose that at least for girls who use twice the amount than boys for peeing, the crumple is the best engineering way to go. More surface area and nooks and crannies. Why don't you use a fucking Thomas's English muffin?
Yeah.
For cleaning up a flaw. A flaw? Is the vagina a flaw?
A flaw?
Oh, I'm sorry. Which has a. I skipped a line. I skipped a line. Cleaning up in number 2. My husband and his family proposed that folding it means you can wipe once, refold, and wipe again, which has a flaw. You can also do that with the crumple. So what do you think?
I'm a crumpler. And I think in general, and I'm curious to know what you do, Greg, I think in general, females tend to crumple and males tend to fold. And I actually know that because I have 2 older brothers. And when I was little, I would sometimes be in the bathroom with them, and I noticed that them like sort of doing a whole, not doing a crumple thing.
Now, you talking about a crumple for the pink or for the stink?
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
So almost like, remember those things you had when you were in 8th grade where
A cootie
you'd ask
catcher?
a question?
Yeah, they were called cootie catchers.
So it's like you'd use like a cootie catcher. Your fingers are all crumpled like this, and you put it in like that to wipe?
Okay, I'm going to grab some paper towel here, and I'm just going to...
Because
I've kind of crumpled
I see.
it and
Okay.
made... Yeah.
How many fingers you going in there with?
3.
3 fingers.
This is what the back looks like, and I've got my pinky tucked.
Got it. Like a
Yeah.
lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I make tea with it after.
Wow. Yeah, I was thoroughly opposed. I'm opposed to, I go 2 squares, and that's the mandate in the house with the toilet paper shortage.
Yeah.
We're a 2-square family, but then on my final 2 wipes, because there's a fair amount of wiping at this point in my life. On the final 2 wipes, I go 3 squares with a fold over.
Now, what are you doing with your 2 squares before, though? You're just folding them, like sandwiching them?
I give them a fold, and I go 4 fingers.
Okay.
4 fingers, thumb
the
on the outside.
pinky
I give
is
it
in
a
there.
I give it a deep scoop, and then I don't even look. First one, I don't even look at that. I throw that straight in. Examination process starts on wipe number 2.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking it's weird how you can feel the texture of your number. Let me rephrase. I can be standing there in the kitchen. It doesn't have to be the kitchen. In fact, it'd be better if it's not. I can be standing there. I can know I need that a number 2 is going to happen, and I already know what it's going to be like just based on a feeling in my belly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, I don't need that kind of knowledge.
I'll better that.
Okay.
Mid-deuce, I can tell you how many wipes I'm going to need within a
Ooh.
wipe.
Name those wipes.
That's right. There
What
are
a fun
some
game.
There are some that come out so smooth that I realize it's going to be what you call in bathroom terminology a surrender, which is a white flag.
Right.
And,
You're cleaner than you were before.
Cleaner than before. It's a 1 wipe, and it's a fucking celebration. And you walk away, and your anus puckers right back into your buttocks again. It's not hanging out. It's not looking back. It's not looking in the past.
That feeling of like something bad just happened back here and I feel very like irritated and raw.
Yeah.
But I got to go back to my day
Yeah.
and just wait for it to just feel better is a terrible. Not enough people talk about that.
Now, when you can't wash your hands enough, you're like Lady Macbeth at that point. You just they just can't get clean.
Now, I thought you bought a bidet.
No, I couldn't get one. They were
Oh,
sold
that's
out
right.
online.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Maybe they're back online, though. I'll have to check.
I think that I got taken. My sister sent me a post on Amazon or a page on Amazon for some not even very great toilet paper. And so I bought like 2 big packs of it. All told like $31 or something. But I think it's a scam. I don't think it's going to arrive because that's what all the other reviews are saying. So
Right.
Oh, well. So wait, did we ever decide if you should teach your kid to fold or crumple? I'm a crumpler. I don't have time for folding.
I think that kids are too sloppy for a crumple. It leaves too much room for a finger to get through there. I think that you got to say, lay it flat across your 4 fingers, get your thumb holding the edge, and give it a nice wipe. And wipe it through. Follow through like a golf swing.
Yeah.
Don't, you know.
That makes sense.
All right, let's get to another piece of mail.
Okay.
This comes from our friend Carson. Uncomfortable situation among my parents. They were married for 30 years before Dad came out of the closet 10 years ago. Shock for all involved, but I'm enormously proud of my dad, and we're very close. A few years ago, he started dating a wonderful man, I'm assuming also gay, who will soon become his husband. My mom did not take any of this well and is still pretty bitter. I get it. I wish everyone could get along, but they don't, and over time I've just accepted that as our reality. Here's the question. Have an 18-month-old son who loves books. Many of his favorite books were given to him by his grandpas and have LGBTQ themes. Think Marlon Bundo and Julian is a Mermaid for reference. My mother is actively uncomfortable when my son picks out one of these books to read with her, even saying out loud, I hate that book. How do I handle when she visits?
Wow. Is the wrong answer to say just move those books out of the way?
I don't think so. I'm on board with you. I rarely agree with you because I try to make good podcasting
and good pasta.
And good pasta.
In case Angelo shows up. In case Angelo shows up and she's hungry, you try to make good pasta.
I'm a big believer that once people get to a certain age, you should stop trying to change or enlighten them. I think you should be glad that both your parents are involved with your child, and I think you should try to make it comfortable. If the son asks for the book, one of those gay books, just say we lost it. We're going to look for it later. But right now, why don't we go with Dick and Jane and their Stupid Dog Spot books?
I don't know if I would say we lost it. I would, because I think kids at that, it's really easy to redirect. Just be like, oh, how about one of these? Yeah. So I think because this is her ex-husband, I'm giving a little more leeway here. And I'm saying that hopefully it's not homophobia. Hopefully she's just uncomfortable because it's her ex and she has not worked through that or whatever. So when she visits, take those books that push her buttons and put them somewhere else. However, if she starts making comments not specifically relating to books, then I do think you need to have a talk with her because that's not okay.
Yeah, and I think a conversation needs to take place where you say, Mom, I see that you're uncomfortable. Not I get that you're uncomfortable or I understand. I see that you're uncomfortable when he asked for those books. And we would rather he not get a message from you that could seem homophobic. So why don't we just agree to say those books are, or we try to move, as you say, redirect.
Yeah.
Let's try to redirect without judgment.
Well, and also I think it's fair that they don't want him to have to hear anything negative about his grandfather whom he loves.
Right.
So really, I mean, this is sort of a Band-Aid. What we're doing right now in suggesting for right now, if you want to avoid that conversation, this is a Band-Aid. Get the books out of there. But eventually you're going to have to deal with her shitty comments.
Plenty of room for the gay books at other times. All right. So I think that does it.
We did it. Greg, we've done it again.
All we have to do now is tell people what else they can do if they want to get involved with the show. First of all, review it. Go to Apple Podcasts.
That's right.
Find it. Subscribe to it.
Subscribe. Download. Review. 5 stars. Your reviews help out the show immensely.
Tell your friends. If you want to send a message to your friends, I do Cameo. And whether it's a birthday or just to say hi to a friend, go there. And I love doing them. Also, my other podcasts are Fitzdog Radio. And my new one that's a big hit is called Sunday Papers. Me and my friend Mike Gibbons, who's my best friend from college, we go through the Sunday paper for you every week, and we make fun of it.
And listen to my podcast, Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. Also, I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen. And I'm also on Cameo. And, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ChildishPod because we post fun stuff. And thank you so much for listening. You guys are the wind beneath our wings.
Yeah, thanks. This is a fun outlet for you, and we're glad that you're enjoying it. And
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. I'm Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Alison Rosen.
And we are
Childish.